I'm going to be reflecting on prayer. You've probably had the experience of somebody saying to you, say one for me. And in fact, prayer for each other is just such a blessing. I was talking the other day to a long-standing friend from our childhood. We live next door to each other. And she told me that she prays for me every night. Such a humbling experience to hear that. And then I was prompted to become a Christian. And I never fully understood why, because there was nothing in my background that particularly led me in that direction. But in her later life, I discovered that one of my godmothers was a Christian in every sense of the word, and her funeral was an absolute delight to attend. Although tinged with sadness, because she and I had never actually had a conversation about Jesus or becoming a Christian or anything else. But I suspect that it was her prayers that probably led me to becoming a Christian. So I was going to tell you this afternoon a story about God's grace in providing healing even when I hadn't asked for healing. On two significant occasions. And I wonder, even though I hadn't asked for healing, somebody had just prayed for me in some way at some time, and God had answered those prayers with such power. And I can only say thank you to God for the healing, but thank you to the person or people who had prayed for me. Anyway, let me tell you the stories. And they're both concerned with fear, and you will know that one of Jesus's most frequent saying was, do not fear, do not be afraid. And yet, like so many other people, I suffered from fears. Let me tell you about my fear of going to the dentist. I had a kind of pact with my dentist. I would carry on going every 6 months if he would carry on saying, you're fine, come back in 6 months' time. But on one occasion, he didn't say that. He had to say, I'm afraid you're going to have to come in and have a filling. Now, my fear of dentists had gone back a long, long way to the time when you could have a jab in your arm and a general anaesthetic to have dental treatment. So that was fine. But over the years, that has not become possible. And so I had to just go along and just say to him, if you want to tie my head to the back of the chair, that's fine. But I realised that that's probably not allowed. Anyway, I got there early. It was in Southsea. So I'm wandering around looking at the shops. And a complete, absolute peace came over me. And I walked back to the dental practice, sat in the chair, had the usual preparations for a filling, and came out of the dentist with my filling, still in this sense of real peace with the world. I hadn't prayed for that, but God had graciously granted it. But then I had another phobia, if you like, a phobia of snakes, very common. But mine was taken to extremes. I couldn't look at a snake on television. I certainly couldn't touch a photograph of a snake in a book. And as for going anywhere near the reptile house in the zoo, that was unthinkable. But we went to Ghana, had a wonderful, wonderful time with friends from St. Augustine's Church there. And we were invited to go into the rainforest. Now, rainforests and snakes kind of go together a bit. And I walked around the exhibition at the beginning of the walk. And sure enough, there were illustrations of snakes in all shapes and sizes and colours. But nevertheless, I felt I still wanted to go on the walk. And then I was following behind, and our lovely young guide, whose name I've forgotten, Elaine and Robert may remember his name, I can't remember it, he said, "Is there anyone here afraid of snakes?" And everybody said in chorus, "Yes, Jan is." So he said, "Well, tell Jan to keep right away then." But I felt compelled to walk towards the crowd, be amongst the crowd and have a look at this snake. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful, with a bright orange body and a green head. It was some while ago, it might have been the other way around, but anyway, it was beautiful. And again, this great sense of peace. And as we carried on walking around the rainforest, I was conscious of the fact this snake must have brothers and sisters and cousins and aunts all around the place. And yet, I was completely calm, enjoying the peace, enjoying the experience of being in the rainforest with our friends from Ghana. So I have to say, thank you. Thank you for all those dear friends who pray for me. And I encourage each of us to carry on praying for our friends, that they will have blessings from God through His grace, blessings that they may not even realize have come as an answer to prayer, but they may have. Just enjoy all the blessings that God wants to shower on each one of us. Thank you for listening.